Hi, Jesse. I'm glad you brought up the video that was talking about dual languages or dual language classes, because when I watched that video, it made me think about how I wish that was an option for my own son as an English speaker. He is biracial, Caucasian, and his dad is Hispanic. And so on his dad's side, he has relatives that speak Spanish, and he's got a great grandma that doesn't even know English. So I would love for him to learn Spanish, which we try, his grandma, and she tries to teach him. And then me and him go to Guatemala every summer. So he learns through that, and then, I'll try to teach him some things that I know. And we even bought Rosetta Stone, and we tried, we've learned some through that. But I feel like, especially as a kid, if he was immersed in that, it would be easier for him to learn. And so I look at that from the other perspective of the English-speaking student. And it would be good for both. It would be good for the Spanish-speaking student, as well as the English-speaking students to learn Spanish, because we all know that being bilingual is a great thing for your future, for jobs, and it's just a good thing to know multiple languages. And that's what I want for my son. I want him to not only know multiple languages or two languages for his future, but also to embrace that part of him, because he's with me, all the time. So he really only gets exposure to the Caucasian side of his DNA, whatever. So I would love for him to be exposed to the other side of his, his DNA and his heritage and everything. So I would love for that. But, the district that I work in we're really small, and so we just don't have enough people, and we don't have enough Spanish speakers to do that. So, I know that's not going to happen for us, but I love the idea of it. And I know that they have that option in bigger schools. One of the schools I substituted in back when I was in school had that. I subbed in a dual language class, and it was my first. I had never heard of it until I got there, and the teacher had left notes like, this is a dual language class. And so I remember thinking, like, how cool is this, So that would be a really good idea, especially for for both, for Spanish speakers and for non-Spanish speakers, but especially for the Spanish speakers to, like you're talking about, sometimes they're stuck together all day, for them to get a variety of exposures to other kids and get the opportunity to make friends that are not strictly Spanish speakers, because then they can help them learn the language more by just, like I said, immersing themselves in it. So I really love the idea of dual language classes. Looking at my notes. Another thing I said, that you had said was, you talking to them in their language and stuff like that. And I like that. I'm not fluent in Spanish by any means, but I do know a lot of it. And so I think just showing the kids, if you do have Spanish speakers in your class, showing them that you're interested in their language, you're interested in their culture, it motivates them to want to learn your language as well. So when I have kids that speak Spanish and they're learning English, when I sit down with them one-on-one, I want them to speak in English, but then I want them to teach me how to say it in Spanish, and they always like that I'm interested in their language. Also, I think it helps build that connection with them, for them to feel like you care about them, and that you're not just trying to push your language on them, that you're interested in them as well. So that's another point that you brought up that I liked. And the kids always get a kick out of trying to teach me Spanish and then listening to me try to say it sometimes. But you know what, like, I try, and if it comes out bad, I'm like, I tried, so they can see that even if they make mistakes in their English, it's okay, because I make mistakes in my Spanish, and we'll laugh about me and my mistakes and move on. So I think it helps them feel more comfortable in making those mistakes and being open to talking in English when they know that I'm not afraid to make mistakes in Spanish. So I like that you had brought that point up also.